And welcome back for another episode of the Black Watch Report. I'm your host, Thorn. With me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Cowin. How you doing this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good. Waiting on a lot of stuff, but we also have a lot of cool stuff coming for ourselves. So I'm excited for what the future brings.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Which actually, we can probably now officially throw that into the news section, which we'll get
That is
into that
true.
here in just a second. No new iTunes reviews. Get those reviews in, man. They really do help us out, and we love hearing about them. So, we did get a couple new follows. We've got Trentus, Vibes GG, and Redbird 1990. We do appreciate those follows over on Twitch. Thank you so much for those. But let's get down into the news. News, as always, brought to you by our Patreons. This week's Patreon is none other than Thugly. Thank you for your support. If you want to be a Patreon and help out the show and sponsor the news, head over to patreon.com/blackwatchreports. Sub in at the $2 level, and that'll let you sponsor out the news and get a shout out on the show. So let's take this down into the news. Kyle, start us off with some
You
show news.
you really don't want to know what we did this week, do you? You
Oh
you
no,
you you're,
I'm
you're just man
I'm
itching to
I'm
go.
flying. Yeah, no. What did you do this week? I'm just buzzing.
It's all good, man. The excitement. We're getting into it. We're getting
Mm-hmm.
hyped. No,
Close.
it's been a wild week, man. I've been doing all sorts of game jam, game development stuff. We got a bunch of stuff happening. I'm now helping to run 5 different teams making games all at the same time.
Jeez.
They're all different wacky, ideas. We have one which is a great just an idea by itself is a Twitch like a Twitch integrated roguelike game where the Twitch chat can make decisions that influence the game that the streamer plays. So you can
Oh
like
wow.
give the streamer items or vote to like have them face a harder boss or like give them good items or give them a curse or whatever. And so there's just some absolutely fascinating games that like people have come up with that I'm like, I need this idea needs to be made. This is such a good
Mm-hmm.
idea. And then I also about a week or two ago bought a PlayStation 4 with some
Okay.
birthday money, and I got Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, and God of War, and I'm on my way to be 100%ing Spider-Man, and so I'm like unlocked this whole new world of games that I have since completely forgotten about because I've never owned a PlayStation in my life.
Oh
And
man.
so between Tarkov, Civ 6, occasionally some Overwatch here and there, I've been going through Spider-Man, and then my wife and I've been playing through Last of Us together. Mainly it's just her sitting there reacting to the terrifying things that happen on my screen for that game. Holy crap, that game gives me the worst anxiety. But
Really?
it's so tense, dude. Little clickers are running by and you hear like you're sneaking behind this thing, and one pops up behind you and you're like, oh my god, and it eats your neck. It's terrifying.
I
So
should probably check that game out. I'm
it is a
I'm
great game. It's like the game of the year for the last ever, like one of the best games of all time.
I'm still holding out for Final Fantasy VII remake. Like I cannot wait. I'm
You
so
don't have to
pumped
keep
for that.
waiting. You don't have to keep waiting.
Did they
You
push it
keep
back
pushing that
again?
back. They pushed it back once.
Damn you,
I don't
Square
think they pushed it back
Enix.
again. Yeah.
Like you're killing me, bro. Um, as
What
far
about you? What you been doing?
as far as what I've been doing, I've been playing some Apex with my son.
Hmm.
He's kind of gotten tired of Fortnite. It's gotten stale because it's literally the same game over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So he picked up Apex, was digging it, so I jumped in with him, and we've been playing through comp, having a good time. Actually, got some pretty sick sniper clips of myself last night. With the new
Nice.
stream settings, because I've been going absolutely bananas working on stream settings. Hopefully, the stream looks better so we can actually start posting to YouTube again. That's the big thing right now for me is working on this. Still trying to figure out how I'm gonna build out my work area in the basement. Wife isn't too happy about that one. Um, but I got to get out of the kitchen because her job allows her to work from home. So she's gonna need an
Oh,
office area. So I'm just going to give her the desk area upstairs so she
Get
can
like a
work from
folding
home.
table downstairs, man. Just get like a get an XQC desk. Just get a box on some other boxes and put
I
your laptop or your PC on top of that.
I have a like nightstand, an extra nightstand and a bookshelf downstairs that I've contemplated like sitting on the floor in front of. But I was like, I'm old and that would ruin my back. So, but other than that, man, just trying to improve the stream quality and make everything look and sound better, man. That's it. Um, but yeah.
All right,
Now,
news. Now it's time for
now it's
news.
time for the news.
So, starting off, we've got super duper special announcement. We've got I his name is always impossible to Renanthera, the current coach for UCI Esports, manager for Revival, former coach of Toronto Esports and Mayhem Academy. Pretty experienced tier 2 coach here. He will be
Yeah.
coming on the show next week at our normal time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be chatting about collegiate esports because, as we'll get into it a little bit farther down, like this is the first season where collegiate is not a joke anymore. Like it's an actual
Mm-hmm.
real thing.
Yep. And it's only going to make the tier 2 and 3 scene that much better once we start to see more of this happening. So I'll take this roster move because we really
Yeah.
only have one roster move to talk about, and that's IM37, formerly of the Toronto Defiant, and Swoon, formerly Butcher of the Florida Mayhem, both finding a new home in Contenders China. They're going to be joining Light Gaming, starting up this season, trying to work their way back up into the Overwatch League, which is fantastic because I really do like Swoon on the main tank, and IM37 doing that speed run last year maybe was a little too quick, but
Yeah,
I
he had
do
a
think that
fascinating career. Just
it
like
as quick as it
he was just
started.
yeah, like hot topic, just in and out and then gone. Like,
Yep.
oh, okay. Just like he was nobody, then played in Second Wind, and then got called up, and he's on Defiant, and then he got dropped, and then he fell off the planet.
Yep, and then he
Like,
hit the
wow,
reset
okay.
button and he's back in Contender. So let's see how long it takes
That-
him this time.
I'm hoping it's a little bit more of a nice gradual, like, okay,
Yep.
contenders, academy team, bench rider for an Overwatch League team, gets to start, has a decent showing. Like, let's get some nice smooth transitions, no vertical ascensions into the pantheon of Overwatch League.
I could definitely get behind that for him. But that's basically all the news that we have because we're literally in like the worst part of the year. We're so close to being able to actually watch matches, hopefully, because we still don't know if Trials is being streamed. But nothing really from Open is streamed. But ever so closer to Contenders. So let's jump right down into the main discussion this week, which we're going to do something that we typically don't do because we usually don't have time. And that's we're going to talk about the Open Division 2020 season results. We're just going to cover the 14 teams that are going to be going into trials and trying to fight their way for those top 4 spots that will send them to Contenders. So let's first start off by just running down the teams really quick that made it into trials. I'm going to start down here at the bottom. At the 14th spot, we've got Havoc coming in. I know that this name means something. It actually like transitions to a full sentence, but I'm pretty sure there's some words in there that I can't say on the stream because iTunes is really picky. But that is T money sign GMHC coming in 13. And then we just talked about the coach for UCI Esports. UCI Esports landing their spot into trials, along with the New England Whalers, Old Man Strength, Team 2, Maryville University, Melody, Maryville Black. So Maryville was able to get 2 teams in, which I believe Carter is on one of those teams.
Maybe
I think they were
a bunch of
named
other people are. Yeah, the
they were
problem
named
is with
something else
this,
and
they
changed
keep
their
changing
name.
names, which
Yeah.
is some stuff.
And then we're gonna get into the revival, not the team revival, but we're bringing back goats. Goats making it back into trials, followed up with Class 8. And then the meme dream team right here. We've got out of content taking that third spot, with Odyssey at 2 and Karasuno taking the top seed going into trials. So, Kyle, where do we want to start here?
So, real quick, I wanted to chat about like Karasuno is the only 12-0 team coming into this, and they are the only like they beat almost all of the teams below them.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the next four spots. And so then Odyssey and Out of Content both were 11-1, only lost to Karasuno.
Yep.
Then Class 8 and Goats both lost to Karasuno, Out of Content, and then Odyssey. And then so like something important to note here, a team of former pros and streamers were able to fight and beat literally all except for one of these teams, or I guess all but two of these teams, which is wild to think. And one of the things I did want to mention is um, just kind of looking at the rosters. I just wanted to pull to see who is still famous, who is remaining in these rosters, what got mixed up, and then as well the other thing I wanted to mention is you mentioned 14 teams, and some people may think, well, that's a weird number. I do want to remind people that we did have, because of the
Yep.
seeding tournament, we had the absolute bottom two, Phase 2 and Simplicity, get dropped into the playoffs. So they did not have to play in the regular season. They are starting out in playoffs. I think at the top seed. I think
If I'm not mistaken, those two teams will get the seeds 1 and 2.
so. They would
So
play against
then,
maybe Havoc and then the long sentence team.
yeah,
Um, but I guess let's kind of delve into some of these interesting rosters. So Karasuno, a couple of names I don't really recall, but we do have Far coming back as well
yep,
as Boostio and Lep. I think Antol also had played somewhere else I recall, as well as the name is. I mean, Karasuno was the team that eventually became Sky Foxes, so there's a bit of a history behind the roster. I think Boostio was kind of the original leader of that team.
and
Hence why they have the Kirisuno title again. But yeah,
I
when they
think
got picked up by Sky Foxes, he went with them.
Far is taking over, if I'm not mistaken. On his Twitter, Far has it labeled as the owner manager of Karasuno. I'm pulling that up
Mm,
right
okay.
now. Let's see. So, Flex DPS team captain for Karasuno, previously played Tea Party and Gladiators Legion. So yeah, basically all the ones that you said are the ones that I know from Karasuno. It's good to see the name coming back.
Hmm.
They're clearly doing phenomenal things considering they're able to beat out of content, which we'll get into that roster here in just a second. But I'm gonna bring up the Odyssey roster here. We're getting Fish Cake, Maximus, Ice King, Bubbles, Vexanus, Ananix, Mist, Soul, and King. The only name that I know on there is the now 15-year-old Prodigy King. I think he's 15.
Is it the same king?
I'm almost positive that's the same King because Odyssey is the quote unquote academy team for
I should know this as well. Triumph
Triumph.
or
No,
is it? Yeah, just no. Noble, Triumph, Noble. I think it's Triumph.
it might be Triumph.
Thing. Oh God,
Not what I want.
I don't know. I don't know
And
the answer.
the thing that's terrible about it is Liquipedia doesn't update tier 3 teams at all, so
No,
it's almost
not ever.
impossible.
Whatever. Maybe Shrug has the info in chat.
Pulling
Nope,
it.
he doesn't.
Oh no,
Anyway,
ELO Hell Odyssey. This is the ELO Hell team.
there's two
Um
Odysseys, isn't there?
I yeah, there is. And believe me, when I was looking up stats, I was getting super
Oh
confused
God.
because it was like Odyssey only lost one game to Karasuno, and then I'm seeing Odyssey lost to some random team who didn't get any other wins, and I'm like, what's
Right.
going on?
There's two Odysseys.
I am
Um.
looking for that roster,
So
so you can move it on, and I'll see
yeah,
if I
I'll
can
I'll
find
chat with
that.
out of content real quick. This is, I mean, basically every single one of these names are pretty popular.
Yep.
Um, Valentine, who I forget where he came from previously. I think he played with the the team retired washing machine, which was essentially the same roster, with a couple different pieces for the Breakable Barriers tournament, and then I mean, kind of showed up, and I'm surprised he's just sticking with this roster. He hasn't found a better position, but has looked pretty good so far. You've got Clone Man, of course, returning on the main tank, I Remix main tank as well. You've got Jake, who I don't assume is playing anymore, considering he is traveling all over the place.
Yep.
Unless he's got an off week, maybe he's chilling. ML7 again. The why is this guy not in OWL? He's the best Ana in all of his stream. Okay, well, I guess we'll see. Emong, of course, off tank. Avast on main support. I think he is staying probably on that. I think he was off the last 2 games, but he will probably be coming back because I don't think he's with Overwatch League or anything like that. And then Silk Ted as well is rounding out that roster. So a lot of big names. I mean, it kind of makes sense that they were able to do well, but it's still surprising they're able to do as well as they did despite never scrimming ever and half memeing all of their games. But that's the way it works in Open Division.
Yeah. Like it's crazy that they were able to just literally do nothing outside of meet up for the matches and do the things that they did. Looking at this is a different king. Head coach of Odyssey, head analyst for UTD Esports, which is the athletic esports team
University of
at,
Texas, Dallas?
yep,
Ooh, I got that right.
yep,
All right.
University of Texas, Dallas. So that is a different king. So literally I know no one on Odyssey
Yeah.
and basically
Same with
everyone on Out of Content.
Class 8. I think I only know of Dove on that. We've got Vulcan, Zebwolf, Brim, Switch. Oh, Matt Merck, I think is I've heard of their name before in Carfixer. Yeah, I only know of Matt Merck and Dove.
Yeah, I know
Goats
Dove,
entirely new
that's about it.
roster as well, basically.
Well, Scott is the original Scott from Goats that was banned a bunch of times. He changed his name, where it's
Okay.
Scott E, kind of like Zachary. Um, but yeah, that's the same Scott that was on the
Okay.
original team, just reformed.
And then let's talk about this Maryville Black roster. That this is
Yes.
the great thing about these couple of rosters or these couple of academy team or not academies, collegiate teams. They were able to get, I think, decent sponsorships for players to come in, and so you not only have this great influx of great tier 2 talent coming in and playing collegiate and getting degrees and getting an education and stuff in the off chance that they doesn't work out with the pro thing. But as well, now you've got like great players all on one roster
Yeah.
together. So you've got Cat God, who I wouldn't be surprised if that was Carter or something like that. You've got Guru. Actually no, Carter can't also be playing if he's gonna be
No,
on Third Impact. Who are you?
I was thinking Cameron.
Cameron. Oh yeah,
Yep.
Cameron is on this roster.
And Cameron is,
Um,
yep.
as well as Mac. I think this is the former Mac that we knew of
Hmm.
from, I think it was a main support. You've got Rat, Horthic as well, lots of big play. I think Horthic might be a coach of some sort.
And I'm pretty
Maybe
sure that's the same rat that was on
second, phase 2, probably.
was it phase 2, or I thought he was from EU.
Yes, but I think he played on phase 2 with, uh, yes. Yes, he's a Swedish player. I think he was on the 12-man team for Team Sweden, but he was on phase 2, 2 seasons ago. 2019 season 1. So,
Yep.
and then I guess you want to talk about Maryville main roster, I guess?
Yeah, I'm pulling yeah, we'll
I
just
guess you
jump.
have Melody as well.
Yeah, I'll do Melody real quick. There's not, I mean, there's a couple on here that I recognize. We
Mhm.
got Rack Attack. I've seen some Twitter movement from him, but I've never seen any play. We got Ipa, Lita. I know of Romanov, Julf. How's it going, Jolf? Rory, Train Cloud, and Fallen. It's good to see the Jolf landing on a team who was able to make it back into trials. Middle of the pack, not too bad,
Yeah.
not too great. Got a little bit of work to do. Which actually, out of content, the last I heard, they said they might actually play in playoffs.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a chance that they wouldn't. There was like talks on they weren't sure how they were going to do it if they made playoffs, because they wouldn't want to kind of screw somebody else out of a chance. But we'll have to
Right.
wait and see how that goes. Um, but yeah, Melody, decent roster here.
Yeah, and then to the other Maryville roster is also interesting. You've got Kraken Lacken, of
Oh,
course, the former flex tank for Fusion University. And then on wave check, you've got Acadia, who I think was in the Team Canada tryouts on Hitscan DPS, and like kind of held his own against Surefour a couple times. Like obviously you're not gonna outright win those matchups, but like seems to do pretty solid. So you've got a great, Hitscan DPS as well. You've got Aether as well, I think, playing the flex DPS. You've got someone named Exodia, so they have to be good, as well as Ace of Spades. I think this is the same Ace of Spades main tank that we've seen all over the place as well.
yep.
So pretty solid tank line, pretty solid DPS line. It's just the two supports I don't really know of too well.
And then we've
And
got
then
Team Two. Like, stop with the numbers, please. We already got enough numbers and
jeez.
contenders. No more numbers. We got
Go Class 8 as well. Y'all need to knock it off.
Magic Mate Ball, PG1, Devil, Term, Nick, Wannabe, Tug, and CJ. Another group of people I've never heard
Never
of.
heard of.
It's good
Same
seeing
with
new names.
yeah. I mean, yeah, same with Old Man Strength, Madero, Yeedle. I know of Yeedle. We all know
Mm-hmm.
of Yeedle, the ball one trick. Hazard Veg, Chinese food, Muffin Man, Victor Cocaine, and Prez. I don't like, again, most of these I don't know. I guess the same for all of these other rosters as well. We don't even know any of the players from UCI except for Renathera, who's in the roster because he's the coach.
Yep.
But that's about it. Like I don't. Maybe we'll get some details on some of these players. Maybe they are exclusively like they were part of UCI first, like they were students first, and then they got coached up and were able to make open division. Because yeah, like I don't think I knew of any of these players. It's not like they got from like Maryville who were able to bring in players. I think I would assume UCI is a little bit more strict on who they give out scholarships to and
Yeah.
bring in for sports and stuff. So I think most of these people are probably just actual straight up like students that also play, which is cool.
So we've got the New England Whalers, Honey Badger, Magnifique, Potato, Pummy, PVNFX, Top 500 to Bronze, and Pure. I think I've heard of Top 500 to Bronze as a social media memer, if it's the same Top 500 to Bronze that I'm thinking of. So we'll have to see how that plays out, if that is him. We have nobody for T dollar sign
Oh, because I couldn't find it
GMHC.
because it was a sentence, and I couldn't. I like typed that in exactly, and I got nothing. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. Who cares? Whatever.
That
So
is
I don't know what the actual thing stands for. I could like
uh
go scroll down the entire list of all like 500 teams registered for Open Division,
oh, believe me, it's a pain trying to find stuff
but
on
I
that
kind of
Battlefy
don't want to
website.
do that. That sounds
Yeah.
like a bit of a pain.
Just really quick, just retweeted by Tespa. GG's to Maryville. So the match that they were in tonight over at playing against the University of Utah, it looks like Maryville won that one.
Good for them.
And then another one where we don't know anything about them, Havoc. We've got Voltage, Omega Ruby, Yamitra, Velzen, Nerdables, Dunzo, and HQC. Now, really quick, I want to talk about Havoc for just one quick second. All of the teams that made it in, other than the top three, went 10-2. The only thing that separated them was their strength of schedule winning. Havoc lost 2 games. They didn't lose any games to any other teams in the top 14. They lost to Beyond and Astray. So, not looking too great, because at least the other teams all lost to other teams ahead of them.
Right.
Havoc losing to teams below them is a little sketchy. So we'll probably see them heading back down into open division real quick.
One thing we do, I feel like we should talk about is that HU Storm, the team that Elk is on, coached by Joe Meister, 15th, right below the limit. They lost one game too many. If they won that one game, they would have been like fourth or fifth because they have a incredible OMW. It's 87.5, so they would have been fourth if they won that one game, or no, fifth. Oof. Well, they probably shouldn't have lost the first two games.
You want to talk about unlucky? It's losing to the best team in open division for that last week to basically just push you right on out. When, I mean, I'm not throwing shade, but you got Havoc who lost to Beyond and Astray. When you've got HU Storm who lost to Karasuno, I think they lost to Goats. I think their 3 losses were all top 14 teams.
Mm.
Nobody below them. So it's a little tough. Feel bad for the guys over there at Maryville, or I'm sorry, HU. But I mean, it is open division.
It is a fickle beast. It
Yes.
is a fickle beast. So one of the things I did want to go into is kind of reiterating the system because it is again a very new and different system. What will be happening from this is we have 16 teams, 14 from open division season, 2 from the seeding tournament in who the team I already lost them.
Simplicity and
Phase
phase
2
two.
and simplicity. Yeah,
Yep.
those 16 teams are going to be playing. The top 4 end up making it to trials. The rest go back in the mixer of open division, have to kind of make it work again. Then once trials is being played, the top 8 of trials go in contenders. Bottom 4 stay in trials until the next open division. Or no, yes,
Yep.
it's great. That's where it starts to go kind of like lateral or like 2 at the same time. Um, because yeah, we have the top 8 of trials go to contenders where they will face against I think 4 is in contenders right now. In Envy's second win, Skyfox is Atlanta.
Yep.
So you've got 8 spots available. And then everyone else is staying in trials. And so technically speaking, we have word according to Liquipedia that these trials matches start
Monday.
Tuesday? Monday? Yeah, on the 24th. So you've got open division playoffs happening this weekend. We have been very, very, very much trying to get a hold of the bracket. We've been chatting with admins. We've been getting not happy responses back
Yeah.
because they say the bracket's up. We don't see the brackets up, man. What is you talking about? Whatever. No big deal. We'll just guess. Um,
Which
but
actually
yeah, like, oh
I
god.
put in my theory bracket. We can talk about that. It's in the
Yeah, let's
Discord.
do that.
If you could throw that in the notes, I can't pull off of your.
Um,
It should be right in the
yeah.
private channel there.
Phase 2 simplicity. Okay, let me pull this up. It would be turn underneath. Phase 2 slash simplicity going against Havoc. Why is it slash?
Because I wasn't sure who they were going to place at 1 or 2.
It looks like they have.
Because according to Liquipedia, it's phase 2, then simplicity. But that's alphabetical. Because they both had the
Yeah.
exact same 0-3. They went 0-6 in
Okay.
the seeding tournament. So there's no real way to tell who's gonna get first. I couldn't go off of maps. So just to be fair, it's gonna be one of those 2 teams versus the 2 teams that we have listed
Oh,
there.
and you pulled the bracket format from Battlefight, and so it has
Yep.
It's got phase 2 versus simplicity. We kind of have to give that to phase 2 for
Mm-hmm.
simplicity. Whoever wins that, Havoc, I don't think they have a chance. You've got Maryville Black versus Melody. I feel like the Maryvilles have been slightly better, but it's hard to see a lot of these teams. We haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these performances. So then you would have Odyssey versus New England Whalers, Out of Content versus Old Man Strength, which is a pretty interesting roster. Or pretty
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't think they've played yet, have they?
Um,
No, they
I
haven't.
don't think they've played in open division. I think
They
the
did play in Breakable Barriers, I think it
in breakable
was.
barriers, I think they played each other, but that was a different team that Jake had thrown together. So,
Yes,
um,
there's significant differences, I
yep.
think. You've got phase two slash simplicity. So whoever didn't play Havoc will play against $T GMHC. Goats versus Maryville. Karasuno versus UCI. Oof.
Oof.
UCI. That is an unlucky matchup. And then the two numbers are together in Class 8 and Team 2.
Now that's the theory.
Yeah.
If the websites all match up and is correct. So I'm really thinking that out of these teams, you pretty much guarantee Karasuno is making it into contenders or making it into
Mhm.
trials. Odyssey, I'd put money that Odyssey makes it into trials. Depending on what happens with out of content, if they decide to play through the playoffs and go into trials, whatever.
But remember, we still also do have phase two and simplicity as well. So we can only technically pick four to move on.
Mm, true.
So
That is
I would
very true.
probably have to give it to phase two simplicity. Um, Karasuno, maybe Odyssey. I kind of my mind says Odyssey. My heart says out of content.
Like that's kind of
So
where I'm sitting at. It's like if out of content play to actually go into trials and try to play through contenders, out of content 100% is making contenders. I'll even put them all the way through two contenders, just
wow.
based off of the roster that they have and the people that they're going to be playing in trials. Um, do I think it's going to be a cakewalk for them? I think they'll still have issues with Karasuno, but I don't think they'd have too much issues with anybody else that they would be seeing in trials. Um, my hope, my dreams is one of the collegiate teams makes trials and actually does a run into contenders. Like, give me Maryville Black or Mary. I would prefer Maryville University, considering they have Kraken Lakin, Ace of Spades. Like, he's been in the scene forever. Don't get me wrong, Guru, Mac, Cameron, Rat, Horthick, all deserve to be there. But like realistically, Karasuno and Odyssey, I don't even know if I can give it to Simplicity and Phase 2. We don't know the new Simplicity roster. Or no, we do. They announced.
Did we
Forgot.
get the official simplicity roster?
I forgot they did. Let me
You've
pull
got
that up.
Capo, Maxwell on DPS. You've got Crowy, Cedro at the tank line. You've got Moser and Gunther in at the support line. I have heard of zero of these players.
Uh
But
Capo
Capo. I remember Capo from previous teams.
was for Bermuda and the Savages. Kongdu Gunthera. Uh, where did he play? I thought he played somewhere. But other than that, yeah, I don't know basically anybody on this roster. So it's gonna be a rough one again for them. We're playing with unknown rosters here. Um, do we know who's on phase 2
Phase
officially?
two.
Because I think a couple people retired off of phase 2.
They for sure still have on the active roster A10, Sox, Romanov. Really? Romanov as well?
That's
Is
what
he
I'm
gonna play on
saying.
two teams at the same time? I don't know. You've got Panker and Vulcan. Panker was added on the 10th. I
I th-
think some of these were late ads, or like most of these were actually added
but
in January. So you've got Panker on
Vulcan
the roster technically.
Vulcan is on class 8. If it's the same Vulcan.
I'm so bro, this is
That's what
so
I'm
wild.
saying.
I don't know
Like
what's happening.
Like we don't know for sure.
No.
Oh wait, hold on. Twitter, 44 minutes ago. Phase
What?
2. We want to give a hearty send off to Aztec and Panker as they head to opportunities elsewhere. Let's go, boys. I got the Panker
Exciting.
jersey third kit on right now. That's what I'm talking about. Where's Panker landed? I'm following my boy Panker. Um, let's see. Any other news coming out of phase 2? No, it doesn't look like it.
I not that I know of. No, that is it has been a slow news week. We're trying to like scrape together whatever information we can to give to the people, but these teams are not giving us a lot. So I think we're literally 1 week out. I mean, next week we're gonna be talking to Ren and Thera, so we don't have to worry about stuff that. But like, I think after that we should have enough of what we need to kind of be back on track with everyday games or every week games,
Mm-hmm.
results, previews, all that kind of stuff. So the
Okay.
future is looking bright.
So a little juice, not a whole lot. I mean, now we know that Panker's moved and he's going on to other opportunities. So I'm going to assume that this tweet has something to do with that. Carter, I just keep bringing up Carter because he's constantly on my all of my Twitter feeds. This boy is tweeting some stuff. Like 5 teams just made roster swaps in NA Tier 2, and there's literally one team that benefited from it. One.
Huh.
I want to know who that team is. I
Yeah.
really want to know. Is it
We
the
have
team that
one
got
team that's
Carter?
just banging.
Like, I mean, because officially the teams that are locked in for trials and contenders, we still don't have their official rosters yet either. So like
We have,
there
yeah. I
could
mean,
be moves for those rosters also. So we're about to hit roster apocalypse here in like the next week where everybody is announcing their official contenders and trials rosters. Um
we for sure have like our top four, maybe possibly. We for sure have Atlanta. We for sure have Envy. We kind of have Sky Foxes
yep.
minus 1 or 2 players. You kind of have Second Wind minus 1 or 2 players. Um, because I think asking is officially out again. I'm gonna not just make that news anymore because it's just gonna be a forever thing with asking retiring and coming
He
back and coming
retires and
back and
comes back.
retiring.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know who's officially on Revival on Tea
Uh,
Party. We do know that Maid is no longer with Tea Party, which is a big
heard about
fat
that.
rip.
And it is not and he for sure hit me up on Twitter and let me know it is not because he got a better offer. So
Yeah.
unhappy things are happening there.
And then we had Rusto tweeting out, like looking around things. So, I mean, we know that he was working with Triumph, I believe it
Yep.
was.
Hmm.
So we don't know what's going on with them. We don't know what's going on with Uprising Academy, Third Impact, Montreal Rebellion. No clue who's officially on Noble Square One or the Triumph roster right now. Um, there's going to be a lot of news coming. We're going to go from this week where we're rambling on about stuff that we couldn't even watch, and we're just having to make like bold predictions and like looking at names we've never seen in our life. To
This name sounds familiar. Let's give them a bonus. Sure, screw it.
we're literally gonna have like 7 pages of roster announcements each week for the next like 3 weeks because that's just the way that it always happens. But not next week because Ren and Thera is going to be on the show and we're going to talk about all kinds of collegiate, especially the event that they were at tonight to see if what they had going on out there. But is there anything else that we need to go over?
I think that's about it, honestly. It's a bit of a lighter show this week, but
Yep.
there's so much other things happening in this world. Like you got a lot of other great podcasts to check out. So in this last little extra 10, 20 minutes we bought you, go check out a new podcast. There's lots of interesting new things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, we'll be back next week with some interesting interviews and continuing on as regular.
And if there's any big news breaks or anything like that, be sure to check out the Twitter. I will be retweeting all of the big news and roster moves that are going to be coming out to kind of help you have one collective source that's throwing all that stuff out there. But that'll wrap us up. Kyle, where you at on the internet?
Basically on Twitter, Kyle the winner Wynner. That is the only place I am. That in the Discord, basically.
Yep. You can find me over on Twitter at Thorn Rain. When I stream, which actually, since Around the Payload, I was going to be on Around the Payload, and I was going to win it tonight because I had fantastic answers. Actually, I probably wouldn't because I can't figure out how to use the stats lab appropriately, and I would have needed stats to win anything. But I might be streaming a little bit of Apex here shortly. I haven't decided just quite yet, but you can check that out right here on twitch.tv/blackwatchreport. But speaking of that Twitch, if you're an audio listener, swing by Twitch, hit that follow button, create a free account. If you happen to have Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime, which means you can get a free sub every month. It helps out the show financially, and it's completely free to you. So hit that sub button. We are affiliates. But if you want to help out, no money, nothing, just a little bit of typing on your keyboard. Send us a review either on iTunes or your podcast catcher of choice. Just send us a screenshot if you do it on anything other than iTunes, because I can't figure out how to find those anywhere else. Nobody like freely posts those. We'll read those live on the show and give you a shout out. We do appreciate those. We want to know what you guys like, what you dislike. We'll work on the things that you dislike, and we'll do more of the stuff that you like. We do appreciate that. But you can find the show over on Twitter at Blackwatch Report. There is no O in that report. And you can email the show, blackwatchreport@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitch at twitch.tv/blackwatchreport. We record live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern. Our intro music is an original piece by our own Mr. Kyle Wynn. This has been a High Noon production. You can find all of our shows over at www.highnoonpodcast.com and come and chat on that Discord that Kyle talked about over at discord.me/highnoonpodcast. And with that, Blackwatch out. All right. Both of those things worked. Look good. You keep doing that. What are you doing? Stop that. What is going on? Please don't screw my stuff up. Let me just double check this folder real quick.
Okay.
I want to actually give us an outro where when I'm reading that, or maybe pre-record that, where it cuts to a scene that's different, just so it looks better if we're going to be doing more of the YouTube stuff. Where is this at? So I know whether or not to throw something against my computer.
It's usually in users, just top PC videos. At least that's where all my ones go to.
Bro, you are killing me. I don't understand this. To the intro.
Did it not copy again?
Hold on, it's loading. It looks like it only recorded
Like,
half of it. Again,
Weird.
all of the teams that made it in
Is there
other than the top 3 went 10-2. The only thing that separated them was their strength of schedule.
like a limit on how much it can record? Are you like low on space?
I don't think so. God, if that's the fucking case, I'm gonna be so mad. No, I got like 240 gigs open. Definitely didn't hit my record button, but should have recorded everything. So again, I'm going to have to pull it off of Twitch, which takes forever. God, I don't know why it's doing that. And the thing is when I looked at Streamlabs, it said that we were still recording. Which I don't understand why it would have changed.
I like looked it up, and some people also said something else happened, but it like someone posted something similar, but there was not anything else on that other than that.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. See if I can figure it out. But thank you, chat.